Zone C.
Less speed on Trix.
Zone A. Zone B captured.
Previously, Lumina Assembler has been coined as a perfect support or best solar healing build, not even scratching the surface of the exotic's power. From one-shot bodies to 8-second grenades, Assemblers brings a lot to the table, placing it firmly in the position of Destiny's most versatile class to date. As per usual, the sections will be broken down as seen on screen here, and timestamps will be in the description below. I'll begin with the playstyle you'll adopt to use this build. The rotation is pretty simple, but it's wordy, so I'll do my best to give you a good picture. Boots of the Assembler read, "Standing in a healing rift creates noble seekers that seek out allies that are not in a rift and heal them. Standing in an empowering rift creates noble seekers that grant both you and your ally a damage bonus. Each time a noble seeker finds one of your allies, the duration of your rift is briefly extended while you are standing in it. Provides a moderate benefit to the airborne effectiveness stat of the hand cannon Lumina." We'll be taking advantage of the healing noble seekers generated while in a healing rift. While the seekers do heal teammates, they also have a side effect of generating Lumina noble rounds for each noble seeker that hits a teammate. Just hits. It doesn't have to heal them. The number created follows a formula. The first set of noble rounds right after the first set of seekers is always equal to the fireteam size, and every set of noble seekers after that will generate one noble round per seeker, meaning that it will generate a fireteam -1 amount of noble rounds. Boots of the Assembler will not generate a seeker for the Warlock using them, which means you are limited to one less round. For example, just the Warlock in a Rift will generate one noble round as a result of fireteam size, and then none after. The Warlock and one teammate will generate one as well for some reason, however this is rectified in further stacks. And the Warlock and two teammates will generate 3 on the first set and 2 on all subsequent sets. Now is a good time to talk about kit bonuses, which are all benefits not derived from a subclass. Starting with Boots of the Assembler, the Noble Seekers heal for 75 HP and instantly start health regeneration. This is enough to outheal a 140 RPM hand cannon shot. Secondly, Lumina Noble rounds heal for 90 HP and grant an 11-second 15% damage bonus. Both bonuses are very substantial, all without subclass intervention, which is a large chunk of why this build is so potent.
If you captured Zone A, you have advantage.
Now for the most important part of the build, Ember of Benevolence. You're probably asking, what is that? Ember of Benevolence reads, applying Restoration, Cure, or Radiant to allies grants increased grenade, melee, and class ability regeneration for a short duration. The regen given is 400%. I'll say that again. 400% increased ability regeneration, which lasts for 4 seconds. Both Noble rounds and Noble Seekers grant Benevolence, so it's very possible that you can have Benevolence, a loopable buff, up for the entirety of a match. Cooldowns like these look pretty insane. For reference, on screen now are 2 different clips. The left is Boots of the Assembler, and the right is Eye of Another World, just for reference. As you can see, before I'm even done talking, the Assemblers have finished charging, and Eye is not even close. To round out Dawnblade, because let's be real, with those cooldowns you shouldn't ever be running another subclass, let's build 3 separate Fragment combos. The first of which, and definitely the weakest, is the healer setup. It uses healing nades, Touch of Flame, and optionally Ember of Solace to maximize healing to both you and teammates on the move. Second, a Firebolt setup. Using Touch of Flame, Ember of Singeing, and Ember of Ashes, it works well in 3s due to how annoying constant tracking grenades can be. Lastly, the star of the show, and by far the best, is an ignition engine using Heat Rises, Icarus Dash, Ember of Jar, Ember of Ashes, and Ember of Eruption to ignite enemies in groups or on their own. Ember of Ashes empowers your incendiary grenades to do 90 stacks of Scorch, and your Incinerator Snap melee to do 20 Scorch per hit. As that math would tell you, 1 grenade hit and 1 of the 5 snaps in an Incinerator Snap will ignite a target. Ember of Eruption aims to make group ignitions better. 2, 3, and even 4 pieces are very common if you're using your kit to its fullest. The thing is, this isn't some new strat or emerging playstyle. It's always been this good. Pre-Season of the Deep it was good, and with the deep patch notes it got even better. The first note here is a pure buff. but the second seems like a nerf at first glance. Despite the on-paper loss, it's really not about having constant decent cooldowns, it's about having a fast, repeatable, and loopable regen buff.
Zone C captured. Power play. Keep the pressure on.
When talking about weapons, the first weapon that you obviously have to talk about in the setup is Lumina. Lumina is often carried by its 15% damage bonus due to its poor stats and bad feeling, but the damage bonus really helps it, pushes out its 3-tap distance to 33 meters, which is very competitive, not to mention the 81 damage within its usual 30 approximate meter range. Rounding out the buffs, Assemblers also grants Lumina plus 30 airborne, landing at 77 if you're using Heat Rises, which is more than enough for average use. For pairings, there are a few that I deem S tier, but I'll talk about a lot of different options. Personal favorites are shotguns and snipers, but fusion rifles also do quite a bit of work. For shotguns, both precision and aggressive frame shotguns need one less pellet to kill with a 15% damage bonus, and for high impact snipers specifically, if you use high impact reserves, the final round will kill up to 5 resilience. Breach loading grenade launchers also see a fair amount of play as well, due to the damage bonus allowing consistent one-shots without spike grenades. And lastly, Harmony bows like Wolftone's Draw will one-tap to the head when they have both Lumina bonus and Harmony active at the same time. An important note is that the high ability uptime means that perks like Well-Rounded move up into a whole different tier of usefulness, granting plus 20 range and a plethora of other bonuses at almost all times. To wrap this all back up, mostly unscripted, which is going to be probably a stuttery mess, Lumina and Boots of the Assembler have been criminally underutilized in the meta recently. With a 400% ability regen bonus at almost all times if you're using your cooldowns correctly, to the ignitions, to one-shot bodies with the high-impact sniper rifles, to just shotguns being more consistent when used in conjunction, being a crazy team player, regardless of whether you're using healing nades or not. I really think that it comes out as probably the most consistent and well-rounded class that Destiny has ever seen. You can also start stacking Lumina Assemblers, so if you use 2 or more, you benefit a lot from everyone having a constant damage bonus. You have more noble rounds than you will ever need, and you can backpack off each other's rifts as mentioned previously. I also just wanted to say thank you to everyone who watched the previous video. It performed a lot better than I thought it would. View-wise, it broke every record that I've had on the channel ever. And really felt like I was able to get a message to people. It was fairly gratifying knowing that something that I had thought about and something that I came across accidentally. I didn't know that that bug was a thing until I accidentally threw a smoke grenade at a teammate. I was really happy to see that there was an audience and that people would appreciate it. So I just wanted to say thank you, both for watching that and ideally for watching this one since you've made it to the end.